This video is for topic area 3, understand what makes a product financially viable. This is 3.2, revenue generated by sales of the product. Revenue is the term used to describe the total amount of money earned from your business project. In other words, it's all of the incoming money made from sales of products or services. This can be calculated using sale price multiplied by number of sales. As with all of the calculations, the best way to understand is to look at an example. So this example here is using Sony PlayStation 5. Using the real data, we can see that Sony sold 4.5 million PlayStation 5s in 2020. There's two different versions available. One was for 350 and one was for 450. So let's just say £400 was the average unit cost. If we use the formula of revenue equals selling price times number of sales, we can put our figures into that calculation. So if selling price is 400, we can then use 400 multiplied by the number of units sold, which was 4.5 million. So 400 multiplied by 4.5 million. And that comes to a total of just over £2 billion. So the obvious problem with just looking at revenue is obviously we need to take costs into account. So revenue of over £2 billion is great, but if you factor in the cost of production, advertising, paying all of the staff and so on, then the profit is not going to end up being 2 billion. That's why financial analysis is really important. Another thing we need to consider is different time periods. So calculations can sometimes be worked out for different time periods. What we've just looked at before was over a full year of 2020. However, you might need to look at things for a day, a week, a month, or a year. Therefore, you need to get your numbers to an equal time period. So if our revenue was across a whole 12 months, for example, but you wanted to find out how much your profit was going to be per month, then we need to work out what our revenue is per month as well. So our revenue was just over 2 billion. If you divide it by 12 months, you end up with 168,750,000 per month. So then if you were to use that revenue and you knew what your costs were per month, you could subtract those and you would get your monthly profit. So let's take a look at an exam question. Here it says you are planning to take over the franchise of a local grocery store called Proctor's Supplies and you are drafting a business plan. You intend to sell fresh pastries in Proctor's Supplies. Your selling price for each pastry will be £1.15. So it's really important that we highlight this bit of information because that is important for our calculations. And you estimate that you will sell an average of 30 pastries each day, and that is also important that it's each day. Proctor's Supplies is closed on a Sunday is also important. Calculate the total revenue you will generate from the sales of pastries in a week. Okay, so using our formula that we said before, we're going to work out what the answer is to this. So before we move on, you need to be considering what the formula is. Revenue is equal to selling price multiplied by the number sold. So we are going to multiply 1.15 by 30 to get our revenue for each day. This wants us to work it out for a whole week. So once you know how much it is for a day, you need to multiply it by the number of days that the business is open. It says it's closed on a Sunday, which means the business is open for 6 days. So let's look at what our calculations will actually look like. So here you can see the formula. Revenue equals selling price times number of sales, and we just substitute our numbers into that formula. So 1.15 multiplied by 30 is £34.50. Our revenue for each day is £34.50. If the business is open for 6 days, then we do £34.50 multiplied by 6 days is £207 revenue per week. One of the more challenging things to do is to rearrange a formula, and this can take some practice to get used to. However, with the revenue formula, it's actually quite easy. So using the example from our previous question, if we use our little triangle with RPS, revenue, price and sales in, if you cover up the letter of which one you are trying to calculate, as we've done with the smiley face here, it is really easy to get your formula. So if you cover up the R, you can see that P, S are next to each other, which is P multiplied by S. So price multiplied by sales equals revenue. If we want to work out the price, we cover up the P, and you can see that R is over S, so revenue is divided by sales to get your price. And finally, if you cover the S up, revenue divided by price will equal the number of sales. And this can be tested and checked using our example. So 34.5 is equal to 1.15 times 30 is our price times sales. Our price of £1.15 is equal to £34.50 divided by 30. And our sales of 30 is equal to £34.50 divided by 1.15. So that's just a little thing that you can remember for revenue to help you calculate whatever the exam question is asking for. And all you need to remember is the triangle RPS. That's the end of this video. If you have any questions, send me an email and I will get back to you.